A price war which started in March did not last as long as previous disagreements, but its impact has been widespread. US shale oil producers filed for bankruptcies, major energy projects have been delayed or suspended, and the oil industry faced significant job losses. The oversupply coincided with a massive reduction in demand for oil because of the global slowdown caused by coronavirus. In some markets, oil was selling for less than $10 a barrel, which spelled trouble for oil-reliant economies.
When they agreed, the market went up. When they had their own differences, the market went down. And what is worse than not agreeing is, of course, is competing for the same limited area of demand in the world as it stands right now.
The crisis began after a deal to limit production fell apart and Saudi Arabia increased its supply to a record 12.3 million barrels a day. Along with Russia's 11.3 million barrels, the markets were flooded to an extent that storage even started to run out. Thursday's agreement is to slash oil production at least until next year. The decision will be reviewed in December. Iran, Venezuela and Libya are exempt from the production cuts. A few hours after the OPEC agreement, the G20 group of nations meet and decide on cuts from US, Canada, Norway and others. Some say the crisis created a perfect opportunity for big investors to buy stakes in European oil firms. Others accuse Saudis and Russians of economic warfare against the US. US media reports 2 senators were working on legislation to remove US troops and defense systems from Saudi soil if there were no output cuts. The United States says its output fell because of the price war and decreasing demand, but it hasn't committed to any cuts.
For many years, I used to think OPEC was very unfair. I hated OPEC. You want to know the truth? I hated it because it was a fix. But somewhere along the line, that broke down, and it went the opposite way. And we have a tremendously powerful energy industry in this country now, #1 in the world, and I don't want those jobs being lost.
But experts believe even after the record cuts by OPEC and other producers, the gloom for oil economies may not be over.
The International Energy Agency says demand destruction so far has been 20 million barrels a day. I think it's probably been more towards 35 million barrels a day if you look at India alone, the third largest consumer of oil, having decreased its consumption by 70%. I would say it is more. So 10 million barrels a day is what's so far been priced into the market. And you saw the lackluster response. So we probably need more to do the trick.
What began as an attempt to grab a bigger share of the market is ending after 31 days, with no real wins for anyone involved. Osama bin Javaid, Al Jazeera.